Hi friends, today's lesson is for Module 2, Lesson 7. Now yesterday we talked about solid shapes and how solid shapes are everywhere in our daily lives. I bet after our lesson you noticed them in the lunchroom, in the classroom, maybe at your house, or even in your bedroom, because they're all over. And you know what, yesterday we really focused on just like describing them in general. But today we're going to take it one step further. Our learning goal says, I can describe and name solid shapes. Since these solid shapes are everywhere in our everyday life all the time, it's going to be really helpful if we know what their names are. So, today we're going to talk about solid shapes and their names. There is one thing you should know that's really important to solid shapes, and it's that thing that we talked about yesterday. You know, that flat, smooth surface, like the top right here? Well, we don't have to keep calling it a flat, smooth surface because it actually has a name. A flat, smooth surface like that on a shape is called a face. Okay, just like you have a smiley, cute face. Only on solid shapes, there isn't always a smiley face right there. Okay, so it's not just the same. It actually just is talking about that smooth part that's nice and flat. Okay, so if we see a smooth, flat part like that, it's called the shape's face. All right, let's talk about this shape first. This shape is called a cylinder. Everybody go ahead and say cylinder. Good job. Now, a cylinder actually has two faces. It has a face on the top, and then if I were to stick this in like a stamp pad and make a stamp of it, I would see that it has a stamp would show that there's a face on the bottom. Or, if I flipped it over. Now, the face of this cylinder is what shaped? Can you see from the stamp pad right there? Yeah, perfect. Its faces make a circle shape. See? All right, that's pretty cool, huh? And then finally, if I were to knock this cylinder over and I hit it, it would roll all over the place. So we can know that something is a cylinder if it's a solid shape that has two faces, and the faces are a circle, and it can roll. That would definitely make it a cylinder. Let's talk about another solid shape. This shape is what we call a cube. Everybody say cube. Perfect. Now, a cube has lots of faces. I mean, here's a face, here's a face, here's a face, behind it is a face, and on this side is a face, and under here is a face, and yeah, all the faces are square. If I were to stamp that and put it behind me, this would make a nice square shape back there. So it's different from a cylinder that has circle faces, it has square faces. You know it's a cube if it has lots of faces and all the faces are square. A cone is this shape. You should remember that because if you flip it over, it looks exactly like an ice cream cone. Be careful, cones make you hungry. All right, the interesting thing about cones is that they have one face. In this case, it's underneath it. If I were to stamp that cone in a stamp pad, I would see that the face is a circle. See? See that nice circle shape right there? Perfect. And just like the cylinder, if I were to knock it over, it would roll. It would kind of roll around and around in a circle instead of like rolling away from you like the cylinder would. So it rolls just a little bit different. So a cone has one face, that face is a circle, and it rolls. And then finally, our very last solid shape we're going to talk about is what we call a sphere. Go ahead and say the word sphere. Okay, let's just say it again because it's fun. Sphere. Good job. Now, a sphere rolls. The whole thing is all roly-poly-oly. How many faces do you think it has? Yeah, it has no flat faces. Not a one. Now, it has one big curvy face, but it doesn't have any flat faces like the other ones. And then finally, it is round. It's round all over. So it's going to roll very nicely. And that's a sphere. So our learning goal for today says, I can describe and name solid shapes. And that's exactly what we did. We talked about the cylinder. We talked about the cube. We talked about the cone. And we talked about the sphere. Okay, it's your turn to show me what you learned. Here are two solid shapes. I want you to make a seesaw video and tell me both of their names. So, what is the blue shape and what is the pink shape? Go ahead and let me know. Good luck, friends.